Our next guest for today is Mr. Prateek Kishore, who will share experience of a journey detailing the path to bridge the gap between expectation and reality, leading to realizing your dreams. I request Shri Prateek Kishore sir to please come on stage. I request Dr. Ritu Agrawal to welcome Shri Prateek Kishore ji with the sapling. Shri Prateek Kishore is Director, Terminal Ballistics Research Laboratory. Shri Kishore was involved with development of first prototype of pulse detonation engine in India. He holds 2 patents and has published more than 35 papers in national and international journals. For his technical contributions, he has been awarded with DRDO Young Scientist Award, DRDO Scientist of the Year Award, DRDO Award for Path-Breaking Research, and Special Award for Strategic Contributions. Shri Prateek Kishore ji is a Fellow of Aeronautical Society of India and Life Member of High Material Society of India. He is also the Vice Chairman of Chandigarh Delhi Chapter of High Energy Material Society of India. Sir, I request you to please address the gathering.
Very good afternoon to all. I think I can understand that I am between all the aspiring students and the lunch. So I will try to keep my talk confined so that I don't actually encroach upon your lunch time. I can understand that being in that age some long time back. So first of all, thanks to Delhi Technological University for giving me this opportunity to talk to you all. And I would like to congratulate each one of you for the 2 years plus of hard work that all of you have put in to qualify for this university and entering what I describe as the best phase of your life. As you have entered into a new realm of your professional career, the start of your professional career, it is basically the time to utilize the latent energy in a very constructive and an innovative form. The 4 years that you are going to spend here would redefine you for what you would be known in times to come. Most of you, when you pass out from this college, will have a degree to boast of, will have a job, and also will carry certain addendas which come free of cost. You will always carry some nickname by which you will be known for your life. You will develop lifelong friendships which will be free from encumbrances and expectation. So this is the time to explore what you want to achieve in life, where you want to get associated, and then take it forward and move forward. You would also carry the memories of the successes that you will have, the failures that you will encounter in your professional life here, the elation on success of your colleagues, friends, and also the frustration of having not done what others have achieved. When you pass out, you also will have something for which actually you will later say, was that I, when you look back at a picture of yours, maybe today or maybe in this 4 years when you are going to spend time here, or also when you realize what you did when you were here, you will also say, how could I have done that? Or how I did not do that. These are some of the things that you will carry along as a memory. You are now entering into a competitive world. You have all come through a competition. You are now entering into a competitive world which is based on the knowledge gained. And the knowledge, something what you have gained in the past when you were actually preparing for these competitive exams, also with the learnings that you will have here in the coming 4 years that will enable you to innovate, create, and mesmerize others with your professional competence. Friends, I just want to say one thing. The name of your university also is Delhi Technological University. So technology is going to be one thing which is going to remain associated with you all through. But what is technology? How do you define technology? Having come here, that is the first thing, because that is where the foundation lies. I am talking it with my experience. I have also come through one of the technological universities some time back, and have had the experience of realizing what the technology means through a very, you can say, a hard way of learning of the meaning of technology, to implement the technology in a real life. And that is why the topic that I have chosen today to talk to you is from perception to utilization. That is what is the summary of technology. Technology is something which is not abstract. It's a real world. It's a very tangible thing. You will be dealing with physical entities, and therefore, everything that you deal with technology, you have to have a correlation with the real life examples. Science, as you would have been taught in your high schools, science is, one part of the science is observation, observing the nature, what happens there, and to find a logical reason of why it is happening like that. Similarly, when you talk in terms of technology, everything that you convert based on the knowledge that you have acquired, based on the science that you have learned, actually that is always associated with something in the real life. And this is an art which, as early in your professional career you imbibe into, that is going to help you in the longer run, and that is where you will enjoy your learnings. So as you start a new journey, all the backgrounds that merge into a common canvas, people came from different backgrounds, but here you have only one identity, and that is you are a student in DTU. That is the common canvas. That is the starting point all over again. So all your achievements of past are now at a start point. So a fresh beginning for all of you, and the world and the technologies that is there for you to explore. There are n number of gaps as you go along in a chosen field, in your chosen area of work. You will come to know of the gaps, the technological gaps, the knowledge gap, the scientific gap. All these things you will come across as you move along in your professional career. So it is expected that you will explore the knowledge to return back to the society. If you look at the purpose of knowledge is to give it back to the society. It is not always in terms of monetary values, but in any way that it can be returned back to the society, because this is what the society has given us, and it is incumbent on us that the knowledge that we acquire, the professional competence that we acquire, actually works well for the society. You have come here after a very long struggle. Everybody would have expectations from you. Your parents will have expectations. You yourself will have expectations from you. Your parents will have expectations from you. Your family members, your peers, your teachers, industry, and also the society which is investing in you. So they will have a lot of expectation from you. And expectations are for something which you have not done before, something which you have not attempted before, or you would improve something with the way it is being done today. You would improve upon it. You will make it look more easier to work with, more simpler to work with, or in a simple terms, as maybe 4 years down the line, most of you with aspiring for a management degree would talk in terms of how do you increase the value for money. And that is what the summary is. So before I go on to the core theme of my topic, I will request compare their MC there to play the videos. You can go back to earlier slides. Just look at the videos, and then when I speak, then I'll try to correlate what you have seen here. Now this is a video of BrahMos missile being fired from land against land. This is the Pinaka extended range rocket that is being fired. These are all developed by DRDO, produced by Indian industry, and that is what is the culmination of your knowledge of your technology. When you look at the Helena video, look carefully. Look carefully what you see in the video. Don't look only at the missile. Right? So the missile has got fired, but what I wanted to show here is what is in the background. And that is where I will try to relate it, what actually is meant by technology, what actually is expected out of you when you develop technologies. Let us start our journey from perception to utilization. Where does the technology has a start? Everything has a start. Well, what is that? You keep multiplying everything by 0, you remain there. So where is the start? The start is always with the purpose. For what actually you are doing this? If you are studying, why you are studying? You wanted to get into a good university, that is why you are studying. So if we are developing any product, any system, you need to have why I am developing it. Unless you start having this ability to question why, and this why is going to remain with you all through your life. The moment you get saturated with why, that is the end of your professional growth. Howsoever intelligent you are, how much effort you are making, the day you stop asking why, that is the end of your professional growth. And that is what you have to guard against. Never let that ability to ask why die down. Always keep it awake. And therefore the purpose, why I am doing it. So that has to be very amply clarified. How it is related to you. I'll come to that. One portion that I want to talk is the knowledge. I'm not talking in terms of what you have acquired or what you are going to acquire. People who do not have formal degrees also are great innovators. What is so great in them? How they could do it? People with so much of degrees have been lesser innovators. That means there is some gap. The knowledge which is converted into reality is what actually makes innovation. And that is what has to be done by every one of you. That is what is expected by the society from every one of you. So the purpose has to be there for everything. How to use it? Whatever you are making, how to use it? You are making a very good mobile phone. But how do you want a mobile phone to be used? We were having telephones. Then we migrated to mobile phone. Now you are on Bluetooth. Tomorrow you may be something else, on something else. Then that becomes one of the design issue, one of the realization, one of the concept, one of the perception. So how to use? Who will use? Is it going to be used by somebody who is as skilled as you are? Or this is going to be used by somebody who is not doesn't have any kind of a skill, or what we call as an unskilled person. So the system, what you develop, should have the capability. Whatever you design, it's not that it has to be only used by people with very high-end abilities, or who can spend a lot of money. And at some point in time, the mobile phones were considered to be a thing for rich. Today, every Indian citizen has access to mobile phones. So can it be called that there was a limited audience for whom the mobile phone was targeted? So you have to look at, when you look at the technology, it has to be with an open boundary. You cannot keep your eyes closed. घोड़े के जैसे ऐसे बांध करके अगर आप technology develop करेंगे, तो that technology will find no taker. Where will it be used? And the purpose of showing that Helena video was that. What all did you see in that? Except for a helicopter through which a missile has been launched, what all did you see there in the background? The background showed hills, ice-capped hills, snow-capped hills. Now, what is the purpose? Which means, these kind of systems are going to be used where the temperatures are going to be drastically low. The ambient pressure also is low. Delhi is in a very secure confine as far as the temperature and ambient pressure is concerned. But talk in terms of Leh. All of you must have visited Leh as a tourist. You would have also seen how easy or difficult it is there to live. If you have to make a system operative where the air density is 1/3 of the planes, how do you make a system fly? And that is where the technology comes in. How any system that you develop will be transported. I can carry a mobile phone in my pocket, जेब मैं लेके घूम सकता हूँ मैं. Or else, if you make it very heavy, well, shall I have a porter to carry it? So for the purpose, you have to also define how are you going to carry it. How and where will you store it? You have got a TV. Now, if the TV is too bulky, where will you keep it? Where will you keep, if you have to keep it in a godown, how will you store it? Can you stack one over other? Or you need larger floor area? In today's context, if you talk in terms of larger floor area, then you are out. Nobody is going to actually even look at you. So how do you, all these things become a part when you are talking in terms of your technology. एक बहुत particular, आप लोगों को तो शायद अभी you would not have felt it, but maybe the previous generation will always say, इतनी जल्दी ये खराब कैसे हो गया? घर में आपने आमतौर पे सुना होगा, इतनी जल्दी ये कैसे खराब हो गया? Which means when we bought or the families bought certain things, they always had an expectation that this item is going to last us for some duration, for some time, for some hours of usage. If it goes bad early, naturally everybody feels bad. And next time when you are going to buy the similar kind of thing, you will never look for that kind of a make model. So as a technologist, as a designer, you are not in the market, you are not there anywhere. How much is the end user willing to pay? How much, if you are making a mobile, or if you are making a TV set, or if you are making a tank, how much is the end user willing to pay? If he is willing to pay you moon, you can design it at your liberty, you can add all features, but if he is not willing to compromise much on the cost part of it, how do you, with technology, how do you manage the cost? How do you develop a system which has technological input that reduces the cost of production? And one more thing which actually determines whether your technology, whatever you will do, whatever you will learn, whatever you will apply from your learnings from here, how it is going to be used is how unique is your technology, how unique is your concept, what is your USP. Every time this word you may be asking, what is the USP of this product? So unless you specify what is unique about your product, it has got lesser application, lesser sellability. So realization into a product for such kind of a thing will always be an issue. Till now you would not have got into, maybe I think in your competitive exams also, you would have faced multiple choice questions, multiple options. How do you choose an alternative? Sometimes your chosen alternative is right, sometimes it is wrong. How you have chosen the alternative, that is where the knowledge comes from. That is where the knowledge is actually utilized. So you have, in how many ways, to simply put, if you are looking to design anything, that is what will be expected from all of you. If you are trying to develop some technology with your learnings from here, how many alternatives are you able to choose from? You have to develop alternatives and then work on various options that are available. So only after that, the design phase actually comes. And when the design phase comes, then do we have the freedom or liberty, or you have boundaries when you are actually doing the design? So when we talk in terms of design, we have to look at the constraints, the limitations, and the frustrations which lead to adaptation. And this adaptation is something which is expected from you to learn. This, till now you were insulated from this or isolated from this, and therefore you were not privy to such kind of adapting scenarios. This kind of a design phase, when you actually try to converge onto technological development, teaches you one thing, how to adapt. There will be a lot of compromises. It will be like in a crowded metro, you are trying to create a space for yourself without disturbing others. So that is what is expected from you, to adapt to the situation, to adapt to the requirements. Manufacturing and processing, I think this is what you will be taught in 4 years' time. And then how do you integrate things together. When you look at the missile, you would have seen only one component which is flying. That looks very attractive. But you should have also seen how many components are actually put together to make a missile fly. There is a ground control system, there is a launcher, there is a onboard computing systems, onboard systems, then telemetry systems, downrange systems. So many other systems have to be integrated together to make a system work in an integrated manner. Another thing is, how do you test the system? So, like, some of them you would be working on in software in areas, you will be working on how to test your hypothesis. So similarly, how do you make your system, how do you test your systems? At what cost do you test your systems? One thing what is expected in Indian scenario particularly, and I think all of you would have come through that cycle in last 2.5 years or 2 years, is it is expected from every one of us, whether scientists or technologists, that we should be first time right. It is expected that we will answer everything, whatever is asked from us. Everything what is under the sun or even above the sun or under the earth, anywhere. Now, is it possible? Yes, possible, provided we know, provided we have the knowledge. But what is the difference between a successful one and the not so successful? I don't want to use the word fail. Not so successful one. What is the difference between the two? That is where a reality check has to set in. And the reality check is the difference between a success and a not so successful is your assumptions. Every time you try to solve a problem, you say, let us assume. Why should I assume? Who told you to assume that? How do I say that my assumptions are right? And what if my assumptions are not right? On paper, when you are solving a problem, you can always say that my assumptions are not right. I will take another assumption and go ahead. In a real life, if you wanted to make a car and at the end of it, you say, my assumption was wrong and instead of making a car, actually I ended up making a truck. Will people accept it? And where does this assumption come from? This assumption is basically a function of knowledge, experience, and application. And all the three words are key words. You may have knowledge, you don't apply yourself, that knowledge is no good, absolutely no good. You have experience, but you don't want to improve upon your knowledge, not good at all. Nobody would like to have work with you. You have both knowledge and experience, but you don't want to apply, which means you don't want to work hard. That also is not a recipe for success. So you need to have the clarity of purpose in your life. You already had a clarity of purpose that you wanted to crack the competitive exams, which you have done. Now, next 4 years, also you need to have the clarity of your clarity of purpose and clarity in approach. If you have the purpose, you have to define approach. How do you approach any problem for that matter? And also, when you talk in terms of design, even when you are appearing for exams, you did not appear for one exam. You appeared for many types of competitive exams. Why did you do that? If you were so sure, you would have appeared only at one exam. But I don't think any one of you would have appeared only at one exam. All of you would have appeared for every exam that would have happened in last about 4 or 5 months. Why? It is not that you did not prepare. You prepared the same for almost every exam. That means there was a risk element involved. There was some uncertainty. And that uncertainty, since you assessed that if I do not do well in this exam as a risk mitigation step, I have another exam. And that is what you have to integrate in your real life. No problem is sacrosanct. No solution is sacrosanct. Every problem has multiple options to solve. Every solutions have multiple ways to get. There is nothing wrong in design. It is whether the design is good for that application or no. So you have to have that kind of a knowledge to assess the uncertainties, the risk associated with developing any technology, and then take corrective action, which will come only with knowledge, experience, and application. And one more thing that you should always do is, generally what happens is when you come to the universities, since you get so bored with your studies of last 2 years that you would not like to have a look at the books. And unfortunately, I also tried in my times almost about 35 years ago. And I can say that, the earlier you come back to books, the better it is going to be. Not that you are going to get a good grade or a good job or anything. A good job anyway, you will all of you will get. But it is basically the value that you will add to that job. And that is what you have to have the habit of reading. And when you are reading, it is not only what you are reading. You have to read why some people succeeded and why many others could not succeed. It is not that people are not making efforts. All of them have made efforts, huge amount of efforts. But some of them who were very successful, we only remember that. So we have to also understand how they approached a particular problem, and many of them whom you will never come to know of, why they could not succeed. That also is one good way of learning. A negative learning, how not to do a thing, is also a learning. What will not work is also a learning. Had we not worked on that, maybe bulbs, all electric bulbs, actually would have come maybe 50 years later had Edison stopped at 103 unsuccessful attempts. On the 104th attempt, he got the right filament material. So you have to also know that there is always a success provided you keep applying yourself, you follow your dream, you follow the path that has been set for you. Friends, you have come through a very rigorous competitive exam, and most of you, the moment you come to a good university, you will say that, okay, my part of learning is done. Learning is an indefinite cycle. Even after 33 years in defense industry, I still say that there are many things that we are not aware, we are learning, we are still learning. And therefore, learning has to be an indefinite cycle. There has to be an urge to learn, there has been an urge to know, there has to be an urge to know, ask why for every question, every point that has been made. So you can say that the technology is a combination of knowledge, constraints, the awareness of the surrounding, awareness of the environment in which you are going to work upon, awareness of all the choices that you have. That means your alternatives. The adaptation. Adaptation, again, I am highlighting, this is one word which in your hostel life, in your college life, you will come to know very fast, very soon. The earlier you adapt, the better it will be for your professional growth. And one more thing, till now you have been an individual identity. You were expected to do everything by your own, whether it's a competitive exams or anything. It is expected that you and you only will do that. From here, the you and you changes into we and we. That means a team comes in. And whenever there is a team, there is going to be difference of opinion. There is going to be divergence of views. How do you adapt to the divergent views? Everybody will have different views. Nobody is wrong. Everybody has their view has to be given a place. And then a convergence has to be arrived at. That is what the teamwork is. That is what, if you look at the history where people have succeeded, they always had an excellent team to work with, wherein everybody had the opportunity to actually express himself. In giving a differing opinion is never considered bad. Not considering a differing opinion without giving a logical thinking to it is extremely bad. And that is what people should not make up their mind so early that this is a bad example. Apply your mind, apply the constraints, apply the conditions, and see whether this is a bad example or not. And then you take a call. So not that, take a decision in a hurry. So you will be learning teamwork. That is where, if we look at particularly from the area that I come from, teamwork and without teamwork, such kind of developments, such kind of systems which I showed, the videos, they are not movie videos, they are real life videos, they are real life technological achievements of the country, and it has always been achieved through the teamwork. You have multidisciplinary teams of skilled, highly skilled, super skilled to absolutely unskilled class of people associated with any of these issues. Everybody has a role to play, and therefore, when you talk in terms of any technology which you perceive, which you think, because of your thinking ability, because of your higher order analytical skills, when you try to put it to realization, ultimately that need to be manufactured by somebody who is a turner, who is a fitter. And it has to be understood at that level. So that integration of team is absolutely essential, and that is where if you only keep thinking, nothing will come out. If you only keep manufacturing, things will not improve. And therefore, there has to be a thinking, and the realization aspects have to move together. So if I summarize it, the perception to utilization is a way. I'll summarize it in one simple word, which most of this generation will like in your terminology, is awareness about garbage in, garbage out. So this is what you have to be very, very mindful of. All these systems, if you do not apply yourself, howsoever intelligent you are, howsoever hard work you have done in your competitive exams, it is garbage in and therefore garbage out. So if you always have to look at how do you negate this, how do you come out of this to make it into something positive in and a product out, or a perception in to a product out. That is what is the summary of technology. This is what I just wanted to convey in this presentation. I wish all of you a very enjoyable and a memorable period of learning with and for a purpose. Thank you very much, and Jai Hind.